Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to install a Garmin GPSMAP 7608 XSV for use on a trolling motor. Got the Garmin PS21 Panoptics transducer and the GT52HW transducer already installed, which is what we're going to be using with this unit. And you can check out those other install videos. But for now, let's focus on the Garmin unit. So I've pulled out everything that I need in order to do this. I've got the unit there with the cover on, the bail mount, the knobs, the power cable and data cable, and then these guys here, which are going to cover the flush mount holes on the unit because we're not flush mounting this, so I can pop those on first thing. Okay, so some of the basic tools you'll need to complete an install like this is a few different types of screwdrivers, wire cutters, and strippers, a crimping tool, some side cutters. You'll need some various screws and possibly machine screws with nylock nuts and washers, shrink tubing and various terminal connectors depending on how you're going to power the unit. And it also helps to have a cordless drill. Okay, so I've got the screen cover removed, and then these guys will just go in place, one on the top, one on the bottom. And they'll just snap into place. Just work your way from one corner across. Okay, so that unit is now ready to install. Okay, so I've gone ahead and uncoiled my power data wire. What I'm going to do is install the threaded collar that Garmin leaves off, just so you can pass this through a hole much easier than having to cut the full probably 1 and 1 1/4 inch hole to get this whole connector through. So if you have to pass this through a hole to run up to your unit, do that first. In the event you don't do that and you do install this, you can't get it through your hole, what you can do is with the power cable, because just bare wires on the other end, you can feed it down through the hole rather than up. So first thing we're going to do is just take this rubber washer, install that on, and then use a pair of side cutters just to cut off these two pieces here. Okay, just like that. So you'll notice there's a like a male and female clip and then a receiving side. What you want to do is have your threaded side facing out. So you're going to put it on like that. Do the same for this side. And then these two pieces just snap together. They'll then freely spin and they cannot come off. And then that will allow you to have a secure waterproof connection to the back of your unit. Now on the opposite end of the power connection, you've got a red and black power line. Comes with a fuse already installed in there. So what you need to do is just strip these back to attach whatever connectors you're going to be using. In my case, I've already got a power takeoff with butt connectors, so I can just go ahead, strip those back enough to get into the butt connector. The other wires, which are these guys here, the multicolored wires, these are your NEMA 183 data wires, and they give you about a foot of like extra wire here. I'm not going to be using these at all, so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut these off short. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is find some power. Up here I have a couple butt connectors that are just bare wire leads that run to the back starting battery. So with this multimeter here, I'm verifying I definitely have power, so that's where I'm going to attach my power cable. So I've just slid some shrink tubing up over the wire before I'm going to crimp it, just to allow me to waterproof that connection. So I'll just slide that up over, do the same for the positive, and then shrink those down with a lighter. So I'm going to be using a ram mount to attach this to the boat. Basically this plate we need to mount on to the supplied Garmin bracket. I've got 1-inch number 10 machine screws and nylock nuts. Not too sure why Garmin did this. I mean, they fit through the ram mount fine, but I think even a number 8 would be probably the biggest you could use in this mount. So as you can see, they're pretty small holes. So what I'm going to have to do is just drill those out to accommodate this larger screw. I'm going to drill out the insides because that's where my ram mount's going to line up best. So I'm going to take a 3/16 inch drill bit, just bore those out a bit. Now that's going to fit in there a lot better. And I'll go ahead and tighten those guys down. Again, just being careful because it is a plastic bracket. So next I'm going to take my ram mount base and attach that to the deck. I'm going to go right here. I have to go down a little bit because I do have a support bracket in there. But just center that up and then just attach that in with 4 screws. Okay, then we'll take our bracket, attach it to the side of the unit, and affix it there with the knobs. And we're going to have to adjust it to the angle we want. Okay, so I've got the unit positioned how I want. Just going to tighten those knobs down. That'll be the angle I have it at, so when I'm standing up fishing, I can look down on it. Okay, so our next step is just to determine how much slack we need in these cables. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is plug them all in, and then just zip tie them together so I know basically how much cable I need in order to neatly tuck everything else up underneath there. Okay, so now I can just cut off these zip tie ends. I'm going to use this sleeving to push the cables through just to give it a clean look. So that sleeving's on there nicely. I'm going to take this little tie, just put this in to hold these into place, and then just screw that in there. And the final thing I'm going to do is just clean up these wires, zip tie them up into place in here so they're not moving around at all. Okay, so there you go. That's all there is to installing one of these Garmin GPSMAP 7608 XSV units. The only other thing we need to do is get a software update into this unit and run the initial setup. So we'll do that in the next video.